Hello everyone, welcome to the market update. My name is K Kim with the Traders Club. Today is February 17th, 2017. Friday. As I record this video, market is still open. I still have the market has another hour to go before close. So you will see flashing lights on your left. Tonight we will talk about Spider, Russell, the Qs, and then we'll talk about some of my current holding positions. And then we'll talk about some of my watch list, and then we'll end the video with some precious metals and the miners. Spider, obviously, we're bullish. We haven't even touched 10 EMA yet since the 10 EMA bounced right there. And it is very, very difficult market for the bears. It is very, very difficult for market for the cash people. It is absolutely amazing market for the bulls. It is amazing market for the bulls who have been accumulating the equities since this vicinity while everybody was calling for the crash. That's the only way to really profit from this market, right? It was tough to go long here because of the uncertainty of Trump. It was go long here because of it was extended. It was tough to go long here because everybody was looking for the 5% correction like here. They never gave you that 5% correction. Well, it's tough to go long here because it's extended. So many traders are pretty much petrified and frozen. And so what do? They hate this move. They want this move to dismantle, crumple, this move to be destroyed. And because of that, I believe, psychologically speaking, that this market will continue to move higher. I have plenty of videos on my blog, on YouTube. There's a video I did on the big picture of the market. Five-year bull run is coming, and Dow's historical breakout. Watch those two videos and see what I see now and why I think this market will continue to be bullish. Probably until beginning of the summer, maybe until July. We may never, and I'm making this claim, we may never hit 50 MA until July. But as long as we continue to cultivate higher lows and higher highs, we're on an uptrend. And again, I agree with you. It is tough to go long here. Unless you're day trading this, I ain't going long here. I'm not going long here on Spider. I haven't been long on Spider since I closed all my positions there. Remember, you guys, this was where I bought the dip and then I did that. But only way you can really benefit from this kind of raging bull market is not to always want to go long on Spider, is when you start accumulating when you start to hold your equity positions. I mean, I've been accumulating positions since here and here, and I have many positions I'm currently holding that I'm still holding many of them. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about some of those. Intel, Boston Scientific, and even obviously Apple. I've completely closed it out after the earnings. I won't talk about it today, but I am holding many equities. Probably until summer, and that's how you can able to take advantage of this market. Not that you're always have to be long on Spider. Is that once you recognize that this market is in a bull market, you start buying, you start accumulating these equities, these individual stocks, and find good setups on those that has a potential to move to the upside. And then as the Spider makes this kind of, because it is, yes, it's tough to go long here on Spider. For my time frame, no. So that's how you can able to, and look, when you just look at Qs, look at this. Can you go long here? No. I can't go long here. But you can able to find stocks that has a potential to move, such as Intel, which I'll be talking about, such as, Boston Scientific, eBay, which I've been holding. But I can't go long here on Spider or on Qs. No, you can't. It's extended. The problem is nobody knows how long it will continue, and nobody even know that. Who knows how long? It may even move sideways for months. And you know, well, you see, the indices doesn't have to always move higher for you to make money. Do you understand that there will be stocks, once the indices start to move sideways, there will be stocks start breaking out. I remember when this was happening, I had a lot of my individual equities that were just breaking out. When spiders are moving sideways, I had a lot of stocks that were breaking out. Market doesn't always have to be going up for you to make money. You have to understand, you don't have to always be long on spider. And obviously, I'm talking in terms of my time frame, which is a much, much longer term. I'll hold things 3 to 6 months, sometimes 6 months, a year. Some of my long-term strategy stock picks will hold for a year to 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Sometimes even up to 5 years. So that's how you're going to benefit from the stock, you know, this raging bull market. Not that you would always have to be long on spider, right? I just want to quickly talk about this, is that this resistance, we just blew right through it. I know if you're listening on Stock Tweets, I know some of you guys asked me on Stock Tweets what I think about this resistance. I know I didn't reply. I didn't want to explain. It's just a little tiny 140 characters on tweet just explaining. It's just what I wanted to say is this. Yes, it has been acting as strong resistance, but we wouldn't know it's a resistance until we see it being a resistance. Because sometimes it can move right through it. The reason is because this thing came from here and moved this much. And so once it hit the resistance, we did see a little bit of pullback. But we just got out of 2 months of consolidation and we just started this move. Let's say if this thing came down here and then hit that resistance, I think that resistance would have been more potent. But because the fact that we just got out of this 2 months consolidation, this is a fresh meat. This thing has so much more strength because it has digested the game for 2 months. The bulls rested. So we didn't even see any hesitation. This thing blew right through. So I just didn't feel the need to answer if you're listening, that I didn't. You can't just draw resistance and just thinking that I'm just going to short here, that we're going to see that. No. You got to see evidence of that first. Right? Just because support is broken, are you going to think that the crash is going to happen? No, sometimes it makes a new support. Just because that support is broken, are we going to see that? No. Sometimes it creates new support. So it is just more than resistance and support. It is more than pivot. I want you to understand, if you're pursuing technical analysis, just drawing resistance, that is way more than that. And I'm sure there, it was more, you could say, well, that was resistance, it was extended or whatever, but it just blew right through it. It didn't even flinch. There's a good chance if we do pull back, that old resistance might become its new support. So let's say if this thing starts to pull back, watch that support, that pivot, old resistance, possibly become new support, which is coincident with the 10 EMA. If we lose that support, I would look at this level right there. See that level? So this was a prior resistance. Here, let me redraw that. Like that, resistance, right? So if we lose that 10 EMA area, watch that level of support. And I'll tell you what, if this thing comes on any of this vicinity, I'll buy that dip. I personally will buy that dip. If this thing continues higher, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. Since I am holding so many equity positions, if market keeps illuminating bullish environment so that I could have my stocks to, use that environment to make its move, I'm fine. But if we pull back, that's probably some of the level that I'll be thinking to possibly go long. Right? But I don't think, you get maybe 2% at max. I don't believe this thing coming down. 10%? No, I don't see it. 5%? I don't see it anytime this month. I think 2% at best. 2 to 3% at best. I even want to make this claim. I think we may never even see 5 to 7%, 10% corrections until summer. I think we may see 2% corrections here and there, but I think this is going to run. We may never even test 50 MA until the summer. Just very bullish. It's because so many people, so many traders are not able to hop in to this train. they're left aside. And this market is a master at leaving people behind, and only random people able to take advantage of this. And this is how it's designed, guys. This market this stock market was not designed to make poor people rich, or the poor people to give them opportunity. This market was designed to make rich people richer. Yes, there are people who rise. These poor people who figure out the stock, they rise above it. But statistically, most people get wiped out in the market, and the rich get richer. And this market is designed to do that. So, you know, traders who been buying the dip here, going against the world, going against the media, they're benefiting it and they're profiting it and they're enjoying this move. But people who are not able to participate, they're miserable, they're angry, they're pissed. People who've been trying to short this or betting it, that its crash is going to happen. And I think people were wanting this market to crash is selfish people. I really do. I mean, obviously you're here to make money and you shouldn't care about anybody else. I get that. But when we get into recession, when we get into a crash, I mean, how many people are going to lose jobs? How many people are going to lose their 401k? You know, but people just, I want to make my money, so they just want the whole thing to crash. And this market is brutally slaughtering those crash theorists as this thing continues to move higher to the upside. So those are the levels I'm watching here. Like quickly, I look at Russell 2000. Russell 2000, I had broken out its falling or rising, flag type of pattern. There's a good chance we may retest this level before going higher, but it looks like kind of a bull pennant pattern. Look at that. It looks like some kind of bull pennant, but if this thing doesn't break out to the downside, I don't see this thing getting anywhere. And 50 Russell 2000 is actually 50 MA has been acting as support. That's a good sign there. And looks like we're holding up 10 MA. So again, benefit of that, continue to go to the buyers. But if this thing comes out to 136, 137, I think we'll find a good support there in that vicinity. NASDAQ, obviously, this thing is extended. Yes. Is this overbought? Yes. Weekly, daily? Oh, yeah, it's very overbought. So does that mean we're going to have this? No. No. I mean, even here, that was just whopping 5%. I think the worst case scenario, we come down to the 50 MA. That would be worst case scenario. If that happens, I mean, even buying the dip would not be a bad idea. But I don't see this thing seeing 10%, you know. I don't see that happening right now. It's a very, very strong market. And that's what everybody's looking for. You see, people think just because it's so extended that it has to see like 10% crash. It's not true. It can be extended for a long time. How many people do you think on this move were looking for 10% corrections from 2013? Huh? How many people do you think people are looking for 10% corrections? I mean, we saw 7% here, but 2, 3, 2. We never saw 10% correction. Where was the 10% corrections? 4, 3. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, this rally was from 2012 all the way to 2014. We never saw 10% corrections. And I don't think we're going to see 10% correction this year. Maybe next year. Let's go back. So I just spent 15 minutes. I'm going to go through this quickly. Intel. As I've been letting you guys know that, I tweeted out that I'll be buying the dip in that vicinity about 35. I did bought that dip. Came down a little bit more. Hold that 200 as an active support. And now it is going higher. Good news is that we are holding above this pivotal level. That's a good sign. It's an old support level acting as a new support, potentially 10 EM is clearing back up. If this thing breaks out, I think there's a good chance we'll get back up here next week or sometime. If it continues, I'll write another article update on this. But you know, this is my first entry. I closed 30%, 1/3 there, and then I added in more. I'm still holding those full position there, but I like Intel long term. I did a blog post on it, the big picture, that I think next several years we may even get to all-time high. This is something that I'll continue to trade to the upside. Let's look at Boston Scientific. Boston Scientific, obviously, I'm holding marginal. This was my entry. I blogged about it, tweeted about it. Closed out half there. I held through the earnings, and I closed on another half. So I'm holding total 25% of my original entry there. So if this thing pulls back, I may think about buying some more there. I'm not sure at this point. Looks like potentially bull pennant type of pattern, but again, this pattern can break on either direction. I really don't care which way it breaks. If it breaks to the upside, I'll keep running my remaining positions. If it breaks to the downside, I might look for certain levels to buy that dip. So that's kind of I really don't care either way. eBay. This was, I bought calls there. I closed half up here at 33.40-ish. And it looks like potentially a bull flag here. I'm still holding my remaining half. Again, if this thing break out to the upside, I'll keep holding my remaining half. This thing pulls back a little bit, I might buy that dip. So I really don't care which way it breaks. Obviously, it's bullish on all terms. XLE, we have this downtrend resistance. We are in the minor term downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. With the intermediate to primary term uptrend cultivation is happening here. I tweeted out that I'll be buying the dip around 68-ish. That will be my first entry. If it continues lower, I'll be buying more at 64-ish. I'm sticking with that plan. If this thing comes down to 68, I will be buying some calls there. So that's the level to watch. Treasury bond, I've been talking about 115 is the level that I am thinking about buying. But right now, we are holding up. This is a support. This is a resistance. We're just kind of sandwiched between there. I mean, if this thing goes higher without me, I'm fine with just letting it go. But if we do pull back, I'll go long at 115 there. Let's go to real quick silver. Silver actually made a good progress here. This was a pivotal level. You can see it was the old support, new resistance. We gapped up. That's what I call jumping over the fence. Sometimes it doesn't like to deal with the resistance, especially when it's a strong pivot like that. It just jumps over it, doesn't want, and then, so that's a good gap up, and then it's been continuing higher. Keep in mind though, we're still dealing with this kind of falling resistance there. As long as it's below that resistance, I think there's still some selling pressure in a big picture. So right now, this is a good rally. I think there's, you know, if we can able to clear above the downtrend resistance, gets above it, pull back, maybe use that resistance or that falling resistance as support, and then gets up, I think there's a good chance that silver can possibly doing some kind of a primary term reversal. We're talking ultimate reversal bottoming pattern, but it is not fully confirmed. For that to confirm, you want to see something like that. We need cultivation. Okay, we don't have a primary term higher low yet, primary term higher high yet. That's a high. We need higher high, we need higher low. Why? Because, well, you say, well, okay, don't we already have that with this high, that low? Yes, until you think just do something like that, then this is not longer higher high, it's going to become lower high, and this low is going to be a lower low. But if we see something like this, then we have already, we got higher lows, we got two higher highs, and then possibly third higher low, and that will be somewhere, you know, I think safe to enter. Again, I'm talking about more my time frame, more longer term trading, longer term investing. That's what I like to do for, you know, it won't be too late, because then it would start to cultivate this uptrend for next week. One day we're not going to see this kind of move. There will be plenty of time to look for a major reversal pattern and then go long once they start to establish uptrend there. GLD, obviously GLD, we're still bound by this downtrend resistance there again, where as long as it's still below that, it's still kind of a fearful there. Right now, GLD's just kind of hitting that resistance and struggling a little bit. But good news is we're holding up this important pivot That's a good news. You see that important support, resistance. We gotten above that, but then this falling resistance currently acting as resistance there. If you can get up, there's a good chance that the next pivot is right here. That pivot is old support and the resistance, which is a pivot that coinciding with this falling resistance. That's a very strong support or pivot at least. That could act as resistance. So then if we pull back, we want to see it pull back a little bit and then thrusting above. If we can see that, something may be cooking. We may be talking about ultimate reversal on gold. And you know, people always think that if gold moves higher, the equity is going to crash. No, that's not the case. Let me just do that real quick. That's not the case here. They can actually move higher together, just because it's just people always say that, well, you know, when people loses faith on the equities, they're gonna start to buy more gold. What about, how can you explain that back in 2008? I mean, you know, the gold moving higher, the equities moving higher together, right? So, I mean, we've been diverging sometime here, right there. But I am bullish on the equities, and there's a good chance that they move together. I may think about buying some gold and silver if we can able to get above some of these levels. Until then, not yet. Miners are at an important pivot now. This is important pivot, resistance, kind of congestion zone there, support, resistance. We're right there. But we do have that. This is a long-term resistance. So I mean, we will need at least this thing getting well above that. So I think good thing about this price action, we had a big bullish move. We stopped short. We didn't come all the way down, make new low. We actually stopped short. This potentially be that higher low. Tough to say at this time. We still need higher high though. That's how it cultivates an uptrend. Because let's say if this thing gets up and hits that falling resistance, right? And if this thing do that, what does that look like? It's a lower high, lower low. And it's gonna look ugly quick. So it's not too late. I've been saying this for months now, I think. Too late to see the cultivation first. Again, for if you are looking to see this thing is seeing a major bottoming, and then we can go from there. I don't want to look at Apple, but that's everything. Have a great night. I'll talk to you next. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next Friday.